Okay, now here's where the conjugate is going to be very, very helpful. So, because we have to divide this or simplify, and because we have an imaginary number in the denominator, we don't have any choice, but we have to multiply by the conjugate in order to work with it. So the conjugate in this case is going to be 5 minus 3i. Now we can multiply the denominator by that as long as we do the exact same thing to the top. So remember, that way you're still technically only multiplying by a big old 1 there. Alright, so now whenever we do this, we're going to have to do distribution both on the numerator and the denominator. So let's distribute first of all our negative 3. So let's see, I'll come out here to the side, and negative 3 times 5 would be negative 15. Negative 3 times negative 3i would be positive 9i. Then distributing our I throughout the parentheses, we would have I times 5 would be a 5i, and a positive I times a negative 3i would be a negative 3i squared. All over. Now here on the bottom we would have again to distribute, so we'd have to distribute our 5 first. 5 times 5 would be 25, and 5 times negative 3i would be minus 15i. Now we have to distribute our 3i here, so 3i times 5 would be plus 15i, and 3i times negative 3i would be negative 9i squared. Now we can begin doing what we can to simplify and clean up. The first thing that I notice right off the bat is this I squared, which is a negative 1. And then the negative 1 times the negative 3 makes that entire term a positive 3. I also notice on bottom that we have a minus 15y plus a 15y. Those are opposite of each other. They just cancel each other out. And finally, here we have another I squared. So we have negative 9 times negative 1, because that's what I squared truly is. So negative 1 times negative 9 would be a positive 9. Now we can start combining our like terms. So on the top we have a negative 15 and a positive 3, which would be a negative 12. And then we have a positive 9i plus 5i, which would be positive 14i. Over. Here we have a 29 and a positive 9. So 25 plus 9, well, that would be 34. Now, this is not the best answer, the most simplified at all. What we need to do is we need to separate this out into two separate fractions so that we see negative 12 over 34 and plus 14 over 34i. Now we're not done yet, because now looking at the problem I go, there's one more thing I can do. I can simplify each one of these fractions. So looking at the very first term, I know 2 will go into the top and bottom. So let's go ahead and do that. Let's take 2 goes into negative 12. 2 goes into negative 12. That would be a negative 6 over, and 2 goes into 34. That would be 17 times. I sort of got off track there for just a minute. Plus, now for the 14 over the 34i, again 2 will go into both the numerator and the denominator. So 2 will go into 14 7 times, and 2 will go into 34 17 times, with our I tacked on the end to indicate a negative number, or a negative radicand, I guess I should say.